Hello, bright and shiny beacons of light. I'm Michael Sandler, your host on Inspire Nation, here where we are going to talk tonight about what in the world do we do next and how we can live fully through and during this time. So it has been such an interesting time. Well, okay, let me back up. It has not been an interesting time. It has not been an interesting time. Whoa, echo. What in the world is going on? Echo. Hold on, everybody. Okay, hopefully that took care of that.
Oh, you have your own video playing somewhere in the background.
I have my own video playing on somewhere in the background. Okay, so let's talk about what's going on here right now. And maybe the echo is actually exactly what's going on. It is easy to get in a feedback loop of worry, of fear, of concern. I don't even want to go there tonight, but I must admit, I, like everybody else, am drawn into what in the world is going on with the world today. It's very easy to get spiraled down at a very time that we can actually use this energy to build ourselves up. What do you mean? How can we use this energy when it seems like everything's going wrong or off, or we're getting locked up or locked down or locked this or open that or sick that, or how can we use this energy? Energy is energy. I'm going to repeat that. I want you to repeat that after me if you can. Energy is energy. There is no good or bad energy. There's certainly better things than we want and lesser good things that we want. Can't speak clearly tonight. But energy is just energy. It's what we want to do with it. During this time, there is so much energy around that if we funnel that energy by focusing on the inside, by diving in on the inside with ourselves, we can actually make powerful, positive change in our lives. It's interesting. We see this time as a bunch of polar opposites, as, oh, I have time to play, and yet there's so much pain. Or I have no money and funds during this time, yet I have so much time during this time. We're living in a time of polar opposites. Polar opposites are actually massive amounts of energy at play. If we can understand that's massive amounts of energy at play, that we can start to dive in or start to use that to dive in on the inside, to look and see what gets to be fixed in my life, what gets to be changed. And full disclosure, I'm working on this myself right now. Jessica and I had a beautiful meeting this afternoon with a mentor of ours who is helping guide us. Everybody needs a coach. Everyone needs a mentor to help put in front of us, or more specifically in front of me, the areas that I get to work on. In fact, I was asked, what is most important to me? Not most important to me for specifically this day, but what do I want my life to look like? And I pointed out 4 key areas, which I think turned out to be 5 or more, where I wanted to work on things. I wanted more time to play. I wanted more time for fitness. I wanted more time to be with Jessica and family. And I wanted more time to grow as an individual. In essence, what I was saying is this pace of go, go, go during this COVID-19 time that I've been doing has put me a bit out of alignment. I'm not alone. I think we all feel a bit out of alignment during this time. But we can harness this energy, and if we focus on what we want during this time, use it for huge positive change. That's why I've got a class. I've got a master class coming up next Wednesday. I guess 10 days from now. We're going to have it every other week. Every Wednesday for 4 weeks, we're going to have this master class on how you can recreate your life. It's why we have an automatic writing program, so that you can go quiet each morning and ask universe, God, source, where do I get to go from here? This is a time, if you're in the US, this is a time let's face it, it's actually quite a scary time. It's a time where everybody's wanting out when we're told we shouldn't have out. It's a time where there were protesters with guns, with Confederate flags and God knows what on various state capitals. And it's a time where we're going, what is this country? What has become of all of us? That's actually the best question in the world. For it doesn't mean that anything is quote unquote wrong, though, oh my God, I hope we can stop the suffering as fast as we can. But it is a time where we get to look at, I talk about this concept a lot. I like to pull out a stone here to show it. And this is a beautiful obsidian stone with a nice satin sheen to it. And we get to look at the stone as if we're looking at a snow globe and say, what's become of my life? Who am I? Where am I going? What do things look like? Where do I want to go from here? Because let's admit it, things are broken. Not just broken in our political systems, not just broken in our cities or state capitals or wherever, or certainly with this virus, but things are broken inside of us. And by broken, I don't mean that they need to be repaired. I mean that tumblers have either come out of alignment or been out of alignment for our entire lives. And we're being challenged to bring them back into alignment. It used to be for myself that I needed big catastrophic events to take place in my life when I was out of alignment to get back into alignment. Now, I use my big floppy ears to listen. What I was hearing from our mentor earlier today is you've fallen out of alignment again, or put more specifically, you chose to be out of alignment to grow your business, which was perfect at the time, but now you get to go back further into alignment as you're helping others get into alignment. What does alignment mean for us? It means doing the things that pull on our heartstrings, no matter what. Now, at some point as little kids, and I used to teach kids and young adults with attention deficit disorder. In fact, I was a national featured speaker on it, wrote a book, College Confidence with ADD, years ago. And I would have parents call me, interview me about working with little Johnny or little Susie, and say, it's time for little Johnny or little Susie to grow up. Little Johnny plays hockey, little Susie maybe plays lacrosse, or who knows, maybe little Susie plays hockey and little Johnny is now doing cheerleading. And they would say, it is time for them to stop doing their sports and time to grow up. We've all heard this, time to get serious, time to grow up, or we maybe didn't even hear it, but we faced social pressure from loved ones, from our peers, from our parents, from our teachers, saying you just can't do that anymore. I would say that's the old paradigm, that you can't afford to do that anymore. You need to get serious. You need to get serious in school so that you can get good grades. You need to get good grades so that you can get into the better classes. You need to get into the better classes so that you can get into the better school. You need to get into the better school so that you can get on the better track, so that you can get the better job, and so on and so forth, until today, where the system just broke. Why did the system break? I would say it wasn't to put you through hell. It wasn't to make things more difficult for you in the long term. In case you haven't in case you haven't followed me that much, I've had 2 near-death experiences. I've had countless bones broken. I have many other people's blood still probably coursing through my veins. I've been there. I've been completely broke down onto my knees, broke so much that we had to move into Jessica, my wife's childhood bedroom. She's the one on the chat room right now. All of these things are here to serve us, to pull us back into alignment. Alignment is when we do the things that make our hearts sing. Why is that so important? And why is that so important now? Because when our heart sings, we're not trying to hurt anybody else. When our heart sings, we're not trying to hurt our planet. When our heart sings, we help others to sing as well. That's called being in coherence. We feel good, others feel good, the world feels good, which is the exact opposite in many ways of what we have. But actually, we're closer than we think. Because all you can watch, united.us, you can watch any of these organizations, groups coming together, meditations coming together, people coming together, even with social distancing, to change the planet. Why? Their heart is pulling on them. It is tugging. What does it mean? What does it mean when your heart is pulling on you, when your heart is tugging on you? It means there is an unstoppable energy or force inside of you that didn't come from you. You came in here with likes, with dislikes, with things you wanted to do, with passions. I want to be a superhero. I want to be a railroad engineer. I want to be an author. I want to be an astronaut. I want to be a world leader. I want to be a healer. I want to be a doctor. All of these I want to be's. Myself, I want to be a bicycle racer and race in the Tour. And I did get to race in Europe for a few years, not in the Tour. Got injured before that could happen. But these pulls that come inside of us don't come from us. They come from someplace greater than us, which means we get to respect them. Respect the urges inside of yourself. Respect the pulls inside of yourself. But instead, they were squashed by well-meaning individuals early in our lives until today. Where do we go from here in this coronavirus COVID-19 time? We go in here. What do we do in here? We go, who am I? Who really am I? Who really am I? Was I meant to live this life? Was I meant to live a better life, a different life? There's nothing wrong with one life or another, but have I been selling myself short? And now, in this second, is the chance to reinvent yourself. Completely recreate your life. Is it going to be easy? Chances are, heck no. Is it going to be painful? Probably so. Is it going to take you longer than you expected? I can guarantee it. Is that a reason not to do it? No. Everything inside of you is screaming, saying, this isn't working. This is broken. I've got to do something different. And since there's no going back, said it since day number one of this, there's a pre-CV world, there's a post-CV world. We ain't going back to the old way. We can go to something better. You can go to something better. I can go to something better. Jessica and I can go to something better. It takes challenging yourself. And if you're listening here and you made it this far and you haven't dropped off, then you understand it takes challenging yourself and you're ready to do that. What's step number one? Be with yourself. Not with the TV on, not with the news on, and I'm as guilty as anybody else at this time. I am not going to be a hypocrite about this. I have been on way more than I'd like to, trying to wrap my mind around what's going on. But then I dive back into myself, and I get to dive back into myself even more. Can I do this while sitting on the couch? Absolutely. Can I do this while meditating? Absolutely. Can I do this out in nature? Oh, now you're talking. Can I do this going for walks? Yes. Runs? Yes. Bike rides? Yes. Skates? Absolutely. As long as you're present. But you owe it to yourself to be with yourself without external stimuli so that you can have these deep, long conversations. Do I recommend automatic writing? Oh, heck yeah. In fact, we've got it on sale. We've got a class coming up this Thursday to teach you how to hear your highest wisdom, to teach you how to talk with your spirits, your angels, your guides, God, source, universe, whatever you want to call it, and say, who am I? Where the heck do I go from here? Please tell me. And you put pen to paper and you get answers. It's now your job to listen. And that, for the record, that's automaticwriting.com. We have that on sale right now. Jessica's putting the link in the chat room. Come join me Thursday. I will teach you how to channel more than you've ever channeled before, unless you're already a professional channeler, in which case you've got this dialed. Why is it so important to write to your higher self? Because we can't go along any further listening to anyone else. Whether that's your partner, whether that's a parent, no matter who it is, we can only listen to ourselves. The protests you see on one level are about self-agency. We feel we are being pulled by others, told by others what to do, and we're going, I'm not going to take it anymore. The truth of the matter is, we are pulled by others in our minds. Don Miguel Ruiz put it best. He said, author of 4 Agreements. He said, we have a government of our mind, a legislature, a judiciary, even in a sense, an executioner. I added that last one. That says what are the laws, what we can do, what we can't do, what's moral good ground, what's moral bad ground, what jobs we're allowed to have, how we're supposed to live our lives, what we're not allowed to do, why we can't have this particular fun or that, and even what will happen if we violate the rules. That's where the real protests get to take place. Up here, saying, I'm not going to live by those rules anymore. Those rules aren't yours. Ask yourself, put it in writing, put it in automatic writing. Get up in the morning and ask, or go for a walk and say, I was told I needed a 9-to-5 job. Whose rule is that? I was told I needed this, that, or the other thing. Whose rule is that? Where did it come from? Do I really need to live that way? Because you don't. You can completely reinvent your life. You can completely change your life circumstances. And now, when crap is going down, and it seems in many ways at its worst, is when you are at your lightest. There's sometimes something, well, not sometimes, there's something scary about people being on the Capitol with a gun. Something freaking scary about that. But on the one hand, what they're saying is, I have nothing left to lose. When you have nothing left to lose, you are really scary. But you're most scary to the old paradigm, because you are about to make massive, massive change. You can make that massive, massive change, because if you are at your lowest right now, then you have nothing left to lose. What's the flip side of nothing left to lose? You have everything, everything, everything to gain. This is a magical time. It's a time of incredible energy. It's a time of incredible potential and possibility. And it's a time where there is so much energy swirling around, which can make you feel ungrounded, that if you simply scoop up some of that energy, put it into your heart, and say, I am going to use this to carry me forward into your new self, or into my new future, you will be unstoppable. You're a dangerous man, a dangerous woman, when you realize that you have everything to gain by completely and totally reinventing your life. And nobody's going to say right now that you're being irresponsible. We're locked down. What better time than now to be more responsible to ourselves, to our family, to our loved ones, than diving in and learning who we are and where we get to go from here than now. This isn't a lockdown. This is a butterfly cocoon. We've got it backwards here in the West. In the West, we think it's go, 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 do, and reach the goal. In the East, it's cycles of life. Draw outwards. Springtime, grow those leaves. Summertime, grow that fruit. Fall, harvest, drop the leaves. Winter, draw in the energy through the roots. Repeat in spring. We are all in a winter together right now, where we are drawing in that energy. It's strange because we have a time to draw inward. That's COVID-19. At a time that the leaves are coming up, that's springtime in the Northern Hemisphere, and they're at a clash. But we're fighting to get out of the cocoon too early. Use the cocoon. Enjoy the cocoon. You can walk around outside and go play outside, but keep drawing inward. You know what happens if you cut open a caterpillar too early to try to rescue them from a cocoon? They haven't fully transformed and they die. A lot of analogies that can be drawn there, but most importantly, most germane to this conversation is take your time. And now I'm not saying this just to you. I'm saying this to me. It's a challenge for me to take this time. It's a challenge for me to draw inward. It's a challenge or a time for me to step back and challenge the ways I've been doing everything and look at each piece of the puzzle. Have I done this before? Yes, absolutely. Well, then why would I need to do it again? There is so much energy and potential right now. Who wants to miss the boat? I can keep going with the status quo. Universe would bring out a 2x4 eventually because none of us are going to get away with the status quo. None of us. Or I can figure out how to step back. That's doing the same things I'm recommending for you. I'm going to dive into my automatic writing even longer. I'm going to take more time invested of putting my butt on the couch to be on the couch. And I'm going to look at each piece of my life and say, whose is that anyway? I need to air X amount of shows on Y amount of days. Whose is that? Where did it come from? Is that true? Is that out of fear? I need to write blah, 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 blah. Whose is that? Is that true? You needed to do that. Okay, maybe. Do you need to do that anymore? This is what you get to do for yourself. Lastly, I want to open it up to some questions here. Make a routine for yourself. That's why we're having this mini masterclass next week, is to help you anchor in a routine and to work with like-minded individuals who are doing the same thing. It is easy to lose track of ourselves, to lose track of time, to lose track of everything right now. So you need a routine. Absolutely need it to give you a foundation, or you will lose track of time and lose track of that motivation. Everything will kind of just blur into each other. Instead, if you know, I wake at this time, I do my meditation at this time, I do my automatic writing or regular journaling at this time. And then I have this specific, special time set aside where I'm going to dive into me, where nobody and nothing else is going to interrupt me. If that's possible. It could be late at night after the kids go to sleep, but having that time to invest in you is sacred. This is that sacred time. I've got goosebumps coming up. This is the time, can't believe I'm going to say it. It's the time we've all been looking for. Thinking about alcoholics here. The reason I'm thinking about alcoholics are anybody who has a substantial addiction, is that oftentimes the alcoholic or the person with the addiction, and let's admit it, we're an addicted society, so almost all of us have addictions, large or small. The addicted personality says, I will stop this. I know I'm capable of stopping this. I will stop this if I'm about to lose my marriage, if I've run my car into a tree, if I've had a cataclysmic life event that forces me to make that choice. Wait a second. That forces me to make the choice. Actually, in other words, you just made a choice. You made a choice to not make the change now, but to make the change when. We just globally hit the tree. This is the life awakening event. This is that incredible change-making event. This is the event that feels horribly uncomfortable and terrible timing. And I'm not going to take away at all from the suffering going on. We hit the tree. Our loved ones have hit the tree. Everybody has hit the tree. What are we going to make out of it? What are you going to choose to take and make out of this experience? So with that said, I am going to gently massage Jessica on the shoulders as I realize my glasses are really dirty here. So while I ask her a question, please forgive me, everybody, I am going to clean my glasses. I haven't massaged you on the shoulder yet. Maybe you don't even need that tonight. I love you.
Hello.
Hi. Do you mind if I put you on camera too here?
That's fine.
And I guess just the very nature of asking, do you mind if I put you on camera? It really did just put you on the spot, just even asking now, didn't it? I am sorry.
Hello.
Is this not the cutest person in the world?
Okay.
I'll answer that.
Our first question is from Michael Cush.
Hey, Michael, how are you? I like your name. I love your name.
We get some energy from the star chart's arrangement, where each planet is closest to Earth affects our soul. What's the question?
I am not an astrologist. I don't play one on TV. However, what I know about this year, and I recommend watching both of our Dr. Michael Lennox interviews, Michael Cush, is that everything is in the most beautiful alignment to kick our butts and wake us up during this time. There is so much energy right now around bringing up that which is under the carpet and bringing it into our faces. It is huge, to use that term. On top of that, if you are in the States, and I know maybe 50% of people watching this aren't in the States, but if you are stateside, from everything I understand, is that the stars are coming into alignment right now, into the exact alignment that they had at the signing of the Declaration of Independence. What is it, 234 years ago, if I have my math right. So the planets have come back around, sort of like a Saturn return for the country. What does that mean when planets come back around into alignment? A mirror is put in our collective face and saying, you get to look at things, look at what's worked, look at what hasn't worked, and make great changes. That's what's going on right now. Everything seems broken, not because it necessarily is, though it may be, but so that we will look at everything. That's what we're being forced to do as a collective and as an individual as well. And that quite literally is in the stars. So beautiful, beautiful question, Michael. I'd go check out those two interviews with Dr. Michael Lennox.
Okay. The next question is from Q.
Hey, Q.
And there's a story. So it's about your interpretation of the story.
Why do I feel like this is a Rorschach test?
So, okay, you ready?
As ready as I. Q, you got me on pins and needles here.
His questions always do, don't they?
They do.
Great.
He challenges me. Am I right, Q? You have 8 kids? No. Well, anyway, let's go for this.
Okay. There was a 6-year-old avatar, a divine being. An old man approached him and said to him, I'll give you these 2 beautiful oranges if you tell me where God is. The young avatar put his hands down into the dirt and pulled out of the dirt 2 more plump and more beautiful oranges and said to the old man, I'll give you these 2 more plump and more beautiful oranges if you tell me where God is not.
It is all Brahman. It is all God. That means there is no broken, there is no good, there is no bad, there is no right, there is no wrong, there is no forsaken. It is all the divine. It is our choice how to interpret it. It is our choice to hold on, and I am as guilty as anybody else, and therefore to suffer. Or it is also our choice as the wave on the ocean to be the wave and ride it for all it's worth. I think that got that one. I love you, Q.
Let's see. I'm scrolling for the next question.
Scrolling.
From Amanda.
Yes.
Working in a toxic environment, and from research, it appears I am playing the role as the scapegoat, not only at work, but with family. Mm-hmm. How can I put a stop to being the scapegoat to have a better life?
So, Amanda, the answer was in the question. You said playing the role of the scapegoat. Our job is to stop playing that role, to look at what am I doing that encourages that role? What am I doing that allows that role? What am I doing inside of myself, to embody that role? Now, this is not said with judgment. If it were me, I would do things like I do a process similar to emotion code. I would do some sort of clearing process, like emotion code, like what I do. I would do some subconscious reprogramming to break that energetic pattern, Amanda. And then if you're listening to this show, it means that you're very sensitive to other people's energies. And I need to pump you up, Amanda, and get you very strong so that you say no, so that you break this energetic pattern, or most importantly, Amanda, so that you set boundaries. That is your calling, your charge, and your job. Now, with that said, the question becomes, and maybe you do need this position right now, but what can we do to get you into a different company, a different position, or into something that makes your light shine even more? In other words, what can we do to take you out of the toxic environment and reinvent your life in a completely new environment? So send you all our love, Amanda, and all the courage in the world. I would work on courage. I would work on strength. I would work on reinvention. I would work on these patterns. And then when the time feels right, and you will know where that is, Amanda, I would set yourself free from this toxic environment. You can build all the boundaries you want, but why not get a new start? That's what we're talking about right now. Uh-oh. Is this another Q question?
No, it's not. It's not.
There's just this brilliant grin, and I know this grin.
It's not even the question itself that's funny. It's just my thought that came up. Okay.
Can we hear that thought or no?
Yeah, after I read the question. From Meredith. Michael, do you have tips for finding love and connection during the pandemic?
So, Meredith, first off, I would start. Okay, how do we put this? Usually I like to work with people and diving in the inside and working on their energy and help attracting people in. At the same time, this is a time where we can go online, where we can try out different services and we can look for people while setting intention. So I think this can actually be a really fun thing to do during this time, because it brings back romance, Meredith. We don't get to go the 2019, 2020 or Tinder world of just swipe, meet, sleep. Instead, we have to meet somebody online and can get to know them. With that said, you're speaking with somebody who decades ago, through Match.com, why do you have this goofy grin? What is it the sitting taller than me statement? What is it?
No, I was thinking about it, though.
I could read your mind. I knew you wanted to just tower over. So you've got to understand this, everybody. Meredith, we're going to get back to you. But if I pull her over, her torso is actually taller than mine. Now, I realize your chair is actually a little bit higher than mine, but she is actually, from the waist up, she is taller than me.
He's got longer legs.
I do. And so you like to tower
They're very
over me.
shapely too.
What the heck does that have to do with anything?
I don't know. I figure they want to know random facts about you. They don't see the bottom half. Did you finish answering the question? I don't know if it's a good idea for me to be on camera.
Where did that even come from? They don't see the bottom half.
Really high-pitched voice.
I was trying to hold it together. Grounding stone.
Apparently, this stone is supposed to keep him from honking.
It seems to work. I want you to play online, Meredith. I want you to work on yourself. I want you to dive in on the inside. I want you to get very clear of what makes your heart sing. And I want you to get very clear on who and what is a match for you as best as you can feel out. And then let's play online. Let's play with the different dating services. Let's play with whatever available. Remembering not to settle. Remembering to look for somebody who is in vibrational alignment. If you're into the self-help, spiritual self-help, make sure they're into it too. If you're into hiking, make sure that they're into it too. Get to know people not through email, but through Zoom, through face-to-face communication. When I first went on, oh my God, I think it was like 108, 111, I don't remember the exact number, 110 first dates on Match.com a couple decades ago. What I learned very quickly is there was no point in spending time on email. Get to know them fast with the richest form of communication possible. And that's what I'm going to recommend, Meredith. But this is such a cool time for dating because we get to go on this journey together with others, which means I believe it is actually going to build stronger, longer lasting relationships. So don't think, well, I'm told that I need to do this about myself first. I need to do that first. No, put yourself out there. And at the same time, get very, very clear on what will make your heart sing. Or who, for that matter. Oh, no.
What? You said you wanted to know what I was thinking.
The grin is back.
You wanted to know what my answer was.
You see what my hair is doing now?
You don't want to know anymore? Okay, so what I was thinking was, if you were into women, then you could come to our boot camps. Because they're full of women. And I think a lot of them are single.
This is true. And you will meet like-minded, aligned individuals.
I don't think Meredith is into women, though.
So the point being, I think if I translate what you're looking for, is go where people are that you would like to meet. So for myself, I was called out of the woods, so to speak, in almost 11 years ago to the day. It was 10 years and 51 weeks ago that I was called to go to meditation center, in part to find a special someone. Why a meditation center? Because they would be in alignment with me. And that's where I met the Pookie, also known as Jessica. So for yourself, look for groups of like-minded individuals online, whatever that looks like for you. If this were non-COVID-19 time, I would say join meetups. If you're into the outdoors, maybe it's a kayaking meetup, maybe it's a hiking meetup. So do the same thing now, but online and without attachment. Make this a time of play, and play your way to find that right individual. That takes all the pressure off of it. I'm waiting to see if there's a goofy look on your face again to see just what I'm in for.
I was going to ask you if you're ready for the next question.
I guess I am ready for the next question.
Okay, from Alessandra.
Yes.
More on setting better, healthy boundaries if there is time, please.
More on setting better, healthy boundaries if there is time, please. We've had, and I'm not going to come up with the names of any, we've had several great books on this year about healthy boundaries. Okay, there is one that comes to mind, but that's more on energy vampires, but it's a good starting place. And that is with
Dr. Christian Northrup.
Dr. Christian Northrup. And when it comes to boundaries, I think it's a slippery slope. At least in the beginning, we know what healthy boundaries are. We step across them a little bit, then we step a little bit more, then we step more, then we step more. So what we get to do is challenge ourselves to bring us back onto the healthy side of things by practicing saying no, by feeling into something. Hey, do you want to go do something? No. Or you catch somebody saying something that seems inappropriate to you on whatever level, and you go, well, I don't want to ruffle any feathers. No. Let's gently, kindly, with compassion, ruffle feathers to protect ourselves. Building healthy boundaries is something you cultivate one tiny step at a time. It's not all of a sudden you wake up and you're Wonder Woman, for instance, and you've got your Wonder Woman bracelets on, your Linda Carter or whoever's the latest Wonder Woman, and all of a sudden you have massive magical boundaries. Take it tiny little steps at a time. However, one thing that you can do is take inventory of what feels icky to you around other people. Get out a sheet of paper, put a line in the middle, and say, it feels icky when Michael speaks all over me. It feels icky when I'm dragged out to do things I don't want to do. It feels icky when, and then put on the other side the boundary, what you can do. It feels icky when Michael speaks all over me. I'm going to mention this the next time it happens. It feels icky when I'm dragged to things I don't want to do. I'm going to choose to say no. Let's practice and cultivate it. Boundaries are a skill. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful question. And I think we had a lot of questions just come in, didn't we?
Probably. I'm trying to figure them all out. Okay. Next question from Roz.
Yes. Hi, Roz.
How did you get yourself on the road to self-love? I'm making my going inside to let go of the old tapes like recordings and triggers. So self-love, how did you get there?
I got there the hard way, Roz, with a lot of broken stuff. I was in a place in my life. Jessica's like, I've heard this so many times, but I was in a place.
That's okay. I'm really good at tuning you out.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you. I deserve that. I just finished grad school. I've got two master's degrees. Woo, woo, woo. And I feel like a piece of doo-doo because I had gone from doing, going. And now I'm at full stop, sort of like COVID-19. And if I wasn't doing, I felt like I was nothing. Truly nothing. 2 master's degrees. I felt like poo-poo. And so I tried to roll a car. Thank God for BMW ABS at the time. I was a complete and ballistic total mess. And then I watched a infomercial from Dr. Wayne Dyer talking about if you believe that there's a God, that there's a divine, that there's a universal force, source, whatever we want to call it, that is all-knowing and all good, omnipotent, and you were made by that source, then you couldn't be an accident. That struck me that, wait a second, I couldn't be an accident. I was made this way for a reason. God, source, universe isn't trying to smote me. Well, then, I get to do something about it. And I started trying to put all the order together because I had a dear friend commit suicide at some point in this process. I think it was after I started trying to develop self-love. First time I tried to develop self-love, I actually went to the mirror. I think it was shortly after watching Wayne Dyer. I went to a mirror in my bathroom and I said, I love myself. I love myself, which was completely and totally out of coherence. That's what we're talking about here today, the world being out of coherence, our hearts being out of coherence. I was completely out of coherence, that statement, with what I believed. And so, like any good young Jedi would do, I grabbed the shower curtain, turned it into lightsaber, and whack, whack, took care of the bathroom mirror and everything else that I could get my hands on in there, as I called it, redecorating the bathroom, smashing and shattering that mirror because I couldn't stand to look at myself at that time. Too strong. Half a year later, I think it was, I did it with the microwave in the kitchen. Too strong. And then I started to very gently sneak my way in with these. Before I even started to say, I love myself, because that was too powerful, I started saying, thank you, God. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. Big precursor to love, gratitude. Started with gratitude. Somewhere in this process, my dear, dear friend and group project partner from grad school committed suicide. And she committed suicide, I'm convinced, because she felt she was broken. And she kept running these voices in her head that told her that she was less than, that told her she was unfixable, that told her that nothing could be done, that told her ultimately, Carrie Karenko, my dear, dear friend, committed suicide because she felt she was unlovable. And I mean, that hurt so badly because I'm like, what could I have done? What could I have said? What could I have? But at the end of the day, what I got out of that is that if we want to live, forget about prosper. If we want to live at the end of the day, some point we get to choose to love ourselves, and we get to cut those negative thoughts, which at the end of the day, if you keep feeding them, will just circle you down into the sewer to where you don't exist anymore, literally or metaphorically. And so I redoubled my efforts. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. Then I love myself. I love myself. I love myself. Then on my chest, I love myself. I love myself. I love myself. Then doing emotion code work. Then doing EFT tapping. Then diving deeper and challenging myself, and diving deeper and challenging myself. And when Jessica came into my life, she's like, oh, dude, you're a wounded puppy. You have got to fix a lot of stuff, and challenge me to take it to an entirely new level. Do I love myself? Absolutely. Do I still trip and fall and watch that wiring come up? Absolutely. Do I work on it even more? Absolutely. It's a game and it's a process. But it doesn't have to start with I love myself. It doesn't even have to start with I like myself. It can start with gratitude. Love you. Big hugs.
Okay. You might want to read along with me on this one.
Okay.
Okay, from Michael Cush.
Yes.
Given Mayan calendar stopped in December 2012, is this true fact? And then every 3,600 years, kind of forgot the exact 100 years, so Earth is due for an overhaul. Everyone gets to go into fifth dimension too. I'm going to copy and paste this into the chat so people can.
Okay. So Michael, here is my take on this, and take on the Mayan calendar, and the take on precession, and the take on everything coming back around. All of the gloom and doom, end of the world cycles and scenarios and prediction and Nostradamus, all were true. It's a range of time, but it is the death of an era. It is the death of a time period. Humanity just hit you could use the A word, the Armageddon of the old. There is no going back to pre-COVID-19. Everything is changing. And I do believe everything is changing for us to grow, for us to evolve. And I do believe to go to a higher energetic state. Now, I rarely talk about third dimension, fourth dimension, fifth dimension, all of these things, because I think we can get wrapped up too much in woo-woo land by going there. And it doesn't mean that it's not true. However, when I think of fifth dimension, I think of us coming unplugged from our bodies and floating back up into the heavens. Well, we each will get there. That's called our death. But we have work to do in this dimension while we're here. It's just a matter of expressing that higher vibration while we are incarnate. And I think the Mayans hit the nail on the head. Whether it's 2012, and that's what the calendar showed, or whether it's 2020, it was the end of an epoch, and it took a little time for this new one really to shake loose. We are still in, it's sort of like asking somebody, when do we fully enter the age of Aquarius? That's this 3,600 year thing. And it is, and I guess it goes 3,600, then it goes 1,800, then it goes 900, something like that. I won't get those dates correct. But basically, we are at a time of greater acceleration, but nobody can nail the exact date, but it's not necessary. You can just look at the energy and the changes going on around us. We are going through a massive upheaval. Woohoo! I don't wish suffering on anybody, not in the least, but woohoo! That we get to come into greater alignment as a species right now. Because if not, we're killing off our home. We're killing off our planet. And we came here with bigger things to do than to struggle just in the 9-to-5 world or the 8-to-6 world. We have very important spiritual growth work to do. And that's why we've come unmoored at this time, to recreate ourselves anew as individuals and as a species and as spiritual beings coming together, choosing to incarnate together, calling ourselves human beings during this time for some really, really big work. Beautiful question, Michael.
Okay, next question from William Tell.
Yeah.
Do you have any comments that may relate to the earth as our mother, provider, and comforter? Any methods to be in vibration with her, in harmony with her?
That's a brilliant, brilliant question, William Tell. And there's so many directions we can go with this. So let's not delete that one yet. Do we have any comments that may relate? I said, don't delete that. So she changed the page. Thank you.
I thought you were a speed reader.
How many times have you given me a question? I've gone, hold on, let me process that. How many times?
Like everyone.
There we go. Do you have any comments that may relate to Mother Earth as our mother, provider, and comforter? Whenever I go into my automatic writing each morning and go into prayer, I add Mother Earth, Mother Nature as our mother, our comforter, our provider, our essence, our being, our everything in a sense. We are not spiritual, quite literally, not metaphorical, quite literally, we are walking, talking expressions of the earth. We're walking, talking dirt. You could call us, if you wanted to, dirt bags. You could call us water bags held together by dirt. We came from the earth. We're going back to the earth. We're almost never really separated from the earth. So in other words, earth is everything. This concept of let's just take us up to Mars and leave the earth behind. We are earthlings. This is our home. This is our beingness. So we get to treasure her. We get to love her. We get to speak with her. We get to be in communion with her. We get to write to her almost each and every day. We get to talk to her. We get to go out in nature, run our fingers on the grass, or hug a tree, or put our feet in the sand and commune with her in any way we can. Certainly, as authors of Barefoot Running and Barefoot Walking, we would say, put your feet in the earth, scrunch your toes up in the ground. But it's certainly most of all, it is a choice and decision to get back into coherence with her. In my opinion, why did COVID-19 happen? Because Mama Earth hit the red button on her children and said, you ain't going any further down that road. I need to bring you back into coherence, or I got to make room for other of my children because you're hurting too many of us. But she's very loving and kind. And even though this seems horrific, and I'm not taking away from it, compared to a virus that could wipe out like 60 or 80% of us, this is almost a godsend. It is a massive, massive wake-up call, of which not all of us are going to make it through on the physical realm. It is a massive, massive wake-up call from Mother Earth to her children to help us get back in alignment with her. So how do we begin? Reach out to her in any way you want.
As you were saying that, I was looking at the hummingbirds that are flying right outside
Oh my God.
here.
Do I dare turn it around? I think with the microphone and everything, it kind of might flip-flop everything.
I think so.
But if people look in the distance, or if you zoom in enough, you will see a feeder behind us. Yep, right there. And though it is small, there are lots of little hummers that have been flitting around back there as well.
Okay, so next question from Anna Maria. This present time energy has shook all that was familiar. I find that I have slipped into a world where some people are either being overly scared or completely in denial. Any thoughts?
I'm going to repeat this one. This present time energy has shook all that was familiar. Absolutely, Anna Maria, by design was essential to shake everything that was familiar to help us come unmoored. End of epic, end of time period, end of living out of alignment. I find that I've slipped into a world where some people are either being overly scared or completely in denial. Thoughts. Let's focus. Oh, that's not fair, because I'm not focusing just on myself. I'm focusing on what every Yahoo is doing around us. And I mean that when I look at people with guns and state capitals and I go, what in the world is going on? All meant to serve us. All God, all Brahman, all perfect. All that fear is perfect. All the denial is perfect. All of it is perfect. Even though my ego screams at me that it's not, but I have to remind myself that there is perfection even in that to break us loose from the old. So instead of saying overly scared, they are perfectly scared. Instead of saying stuck in denial, they are perfectly in denial. All of it happening to serve us. All of it perfect for us. Even us watching this and going, OMG, is exactly what you and I need. Now, what we get to do with this is then bring it back in and use it as fuel rather than have all of our energy out there focused on everything else that is going on. It's okay to look. I was like this, then I'm like that, then I'm like, whoa. But then I get to draw it back inwards and say, all right, that's some heavy duty energy going on out there. What can I do to use it on the inside? Does it mean people are doing things that are right? Yes. Does it mean that people are doing things wrong? Yes. Does it mean that people aren't doing things that are wrong? Yes. Does it mean that people aren't doing things that are right? Yes. It is all true. It is all here to serve us. Now, with that said, I did dial up my local town council meeting and said, hey, I feel it's a good idea that we wear masks. How do you guys feel about that? What I mean by this is that feel free to do the work on the inside and also to step forward on the outside as well. We're not hopeless during this time. We're not helpless during this time. We are not powerless during this time. You can do that two-step dance. Dive deep on the inside and step forward in whatever way you feel. Brilliant, brilliant question.
Question from Allison Muse.
Yes.
Will the grounding mats and the like help with what people are saying about 5G? I've seen a lot of 5G stuff recently.
My guess, Allison, is yes. To how much, I don't know. When we've had on our show multiple times, Clint Ober, who's the founder of the science of earthing. And he talks about earthing or being connected, electrically grounded to the earth, as producing a Faraday cage effect on us. In essence, the energy of the earth, this is going to so butcher the science, please forgive me, creates an electrical shield on our skin that helps prevent 5G from coming in. As a kid, I used to go to the Museum of Science in Boston, Mass. Oh my God, did I love it. They had there, I can't even remember the name of this accelerator that they had there, 2 giant balls, like giant Tesla coil things, arcing electricity with millions of volts going between these 2 things. And then they had a guy sitting in or standing in a cage that looked like a chicken cage or a bird cage. And the electric bolts would start to hit the outside of the cage. And this guy would actually put his hands on the inside of the cage with up to like 10 million volts hitting the outside. And he didn't die. Why? the cage was grounded, and the electricity hit the outside of the cage, went around the skin, and went down into the ground, into Earth. That's what I'm told, and what I've read about is how earthing or grounding helps with 5G specifically. Do we know enough? My guess is heck no. Is it entirely helpful? I have no idea. Am I a proponent of 5G? No, I can't say that I am. I'm a proponent of less of this electric noise floating around us, not just for ourselves, but for every animal out there as well. What do we do about it? That becomes the two-step dance. Because there is... When we go into dis-ease, it is because we have too much stress. That could be electrical or electronic stress. That could be stress from a virus. That could be emotional stress. That could be all sorts of types of stress. 5G to me is one type of stress. So we work to see how we can mitigate it. We work to see what we can do to avoid it in theory, maybe. We work also our internal stress, but we also, at the same time, if you're not wanting 5G, you work externally to see if you can stop 5G, but at the same time, and that's a personal choice and how you want to proceed on that, but at the same time, work to dial your internal stress down to 5G. It's that fear, it's that worry, it's that concern that can be as damaging, if not more, than 5G itself. It's why when a coaching client comes to me with a neurotically pure diet and saying, I'm still struggling with my health, I'm really worried about this, I can't eat this, I can't eat that, and I've been there. As a kid, I actually became anorexic while I was trying to make it as a pro cyclist, or before I became one. I get it. And Jessica can't tell you the number of times early on in a relationship where I was being hyper vigilant about my diet. That is actually more stressful than anything else. Studies show that oftentimes smokers live longer than non-smokers if the smokers are nonchalant, are like, happy-go-lucky about things, and the non-smokers are freaked out about their health. That actually can do more harm than the cigarettes themselves. It's mind-blowing, it sounds backwards, but it's because we are energetic beings having a human experience. It is how do we choose to handle and transmute the energies that are coming at us from inside and out.
Thanks.
Thank you, and thank you. Here comes the love bug.
Okay, our next question is from Lynn.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I'm all by myself. Work feels self-obsessive and navel-gazy. Is this a hint I need balance and to roll up my sleeves to get back out there in the world and help?
Lynn, I also sense a lot of self-judgment on this one. Whether to get out there or not, totally up to you. Whether you want to or not, totally up to you. How you choose to view what you're doing, totally up to you. I want to look at things a different way, which is, what can we do to love up Lynn during this time? What can we do to make Lynn shine during this time? What can we do to help Lynn to feel fulfilled during this time? Now, it certainly does feel like you are feeling a pull to go out there. And so I'm going to encourage you to do that, but I'm going to encourage you to do that not from a place of judgment. And I hear too much judgment of Lynn against Lynn. I want Lynn to go out because Lynn loves herself up, and Lynn feels this positive pull to go out, not because of guilt, not because of feeling I'm less than if I don't go out, not because of any of these things, but because it will light Lynn up and it feels like this is what Lynn is called to do. So I want Lynn to actually dive into the navel and say, am I being self-judgy? Am I picking on myself? And be extra loving and kind to Lynn And then if Lynn says, I need to get a fire hose and go out there and help do some good, you go, girl, and go with everything that you've got. Love you, love you, love you, Lynn.
Our next question is from William Tell.
Yes.
I'm at peace and feel no urge to change anything. Is that okay?
Everything is okay, William. Yes. However, yes, but let's not change anything. Let's observe everything. Let's just use this as a time, William, to be with yourself, to look at yourself, to learn about yourself. If you've been given this gift of time during this time, use it for that. But there is no need to change anything. There is no need. So life is paradox. Self-help is paradox. Spirituality is paradox. Everything is paradox. It is a time to do and it is a time to be. It is a time to make great change. It is a time to come to a great halt. What I recommend, William, is be with yourself during this time. And then whatever comes up, that's what perhaps we get to step forward or to step inward in. But self-help is missing one key element traditionally, or has one key tenet that I disagree with. And that key tenet is that you are broken and need to be fixed. I don't buy that at all. Nobody is broken. You are perfect just as you are. You can choose to rock it even more if you want to. You can choose to stay in this perfection. Nobody is forcing you to do otherwise. Now, as a species, we are being challenged to raise our vibration, to go to a higher level of coherence, to go to a higher level of accord, of vibration. But just by being you, just by doing that, you're doing that without having to force anything, William. So I would say be with yourself during this time and look inward. The last note that I have is you were called to watch this tonight for a reason. And so, William, I would ask myself, what is the reason that I was drawn to this topic? And what can I learn from that pull, from that pulse, from that energy? Brilliant, brilliant question, William.
Apparently it was a rhetorical question. I can't tell.
I love you. I love you. I love you. I love myself. I love myself. I love myself.
Okay. From Lynn Marie, I'm feeling a lot of depression and anger. Any advice?
Yes, Lynn Marie. And I've been walking around. Well, actually, that's cool, Lynn Marie. Because usually when people are depressed, they've buried their anger. And so there is anger in there, but they're too numb to feel it. So the fact that you're feeling anger means we can't hold on to that depression. This is kind of cool. And anger isn't anger. Anger is certainly frustration. Anger is energy that doesn't know where to go. So I will often be running around in the house going, I feel angry. And that's just because I was a testosterone-driven boy many years ago who would throw doors and slam things and break things as a way to try to get this energy out. So I now know when I say I am angry, I'm not wanting to really beat anybody up. What I'm saying is, oh my God, there is so much energy moving through me right now. Woohoo! Where is it supposed to go? And then I turn the mirror on myself and I try to learn from that energy, which is oftentimes a tsunami coming over me to help guide or carry me forward. There is no time that I am more hopping up and down mad than about an hour before an interview, when I am saying, I have no idea what I'm going to say, what I'm going to do with this interview, where we're going to go with things. Isn't that right? Hour before an interview. Sorry, that was me breaking the rules. That I am at the most craziest sometimes, going, I have no idea what to do. I have no idea where to go with things.
Yeah.
That is just an energy inside of me, a wave of energy from the universe, helping actually carry me forward. It could be called creative angst. So let us observe the energy, learn from the energy, see how we can use the energy rather than labeling it strictly anger or depression. It's not depression. That depression you're feeling is out of coherence. You get to make some great changes. But that anger is there to help guide you forward. So let's turn inward and look at it. How do we look at it? Where in my body am I feeling that anger? Whoa. All right. Let me put my focus there and put my hands there and breathe into it and feel the anger. Breathe into it and feel the anger. Breathe into it and feel the anger until the anger speaks to you and says, here's what I need to say. It's also why I'm a huge proponent of automatic writing as a way to bypass this process and act directly. Anger, what do you have to share with me? But this is awesome. This anger, I like to say that anxiety, frustration, anger are energy helping to carry us forward without deliberate motion. Once we figure out where this energy is trying to guide us and step forward, it dissipates and it all changes. And I see that Allison just signed up for the masterclass. How does it get any better than this? Woohoo! We can't wait to see you there, Allison.
Have you told anybody what the masterclass is about?
I briefly mentioned that we have a masterclass. It's coming up in 9 or 10 days. It's going to be on Wednesday, May 13th, Wednesday, May 20th, Wednesday, May 27th, and on June 3rd, I believe it is. And we're going to get together a whole bunch. This is going to be a high-level class. By high level, I mean specific individuals coming together who are saying, we are going to recreate our lives. We are going to change our lives. We are going to go through butterfly training school together. We are going to grow our wings and make something really special out of this time. And we're going to do it together as a group. Why? Because there is an energy in the group that makes it easier. And there's an energy in the group that brings up in our faces gently what we get to work on. And so this is a much, much smaller class than we usually do. It's why we're calling it a mini master class, where we are going to come together and work on recreating our lives, re-engineering ourselves, and literally transforming ourselves during this time, taking that energy that we all feel around us and scooping it up for powerful, positive transformation. Yes, it's a high vibration class in that we are all going to get into coherence with this frequency of change, which means just being in the energy of everybody else around us in this class, you can't help but transform. We're all going to be vibrating together in alignment going through this. And so that class is 4 Wednesdays in a row. It's going to be for 90 minutes each class. Jessica is probably putting down a link for people to go to, which means, wow, that's like the half off link. I didn't even know we were offering that to the public. How does it get any better than
only
this?
Only for 4 more hours, actually.
Oh my God. Okay, no pressure. But the class is half off for 4 more hours.
If you use this coupon code.
If you use the coupon code that Jessica is putting in there now, this is going to be, if you've heard of, like if you read Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, and he talks about masterminds, this is like a mini mastermind where like-minded individuals come together, get in coherence, get in a high vibrational frequency, have the same intention for change, crank up the awareness, and we will all make massive gains together. And I am most excited about this. I was talking with our mentor earlier today. I'm most excited about this because the teacher is the student as well. I'm going to get as much out of it as you will. And so I am very, very excited. Probably most excited. I've really enjoyed our boot camps, but I'm probably most excited for this class out of anything we've taught in a very, very long while. Because I love this energy. I don't like the suffering. I don't like the pain. A lot of the stuff in the news scares the shit out of me. Excuse me. I don't know how else to put it. It's all Brahman. It's all God. It's all here to serve us. But that doesn't mean I have to like it on one level. That is my human nature. Yes, I'm a spiritual being. At some point of enlightenment, I would look at it and say, it's perfect. But right now I look at the suffering and go, oh, please, do we have to? But there is such an amazing energy of change. And I do hear myself saying it is a collective nightmare or a collective dream we are calling into beingness. And so while it is all God, we can call a higher level vibration, a higher level outcome into being, which is what we're doing and what we're going to do together as a group, which is why I am so, so excited about it.
Ready for the next question?
Absolutely. And how many more questions would you like to take tonight?
Just a handful up to the hour.
A handful in the next 4 minutes?
Yeah.
All right.
Speed round. Okay. From C. Reeves, UK. Is it true that the Earth is also lifting its vibrations and moving into fifth dimension? If so, what does this mean for us?
C. Reeves, how I look at it is, yes, the Earth is evolving. Yes, the Earth is an entity to herself, I mean, Mother Earth. Yes, the Earth is vibrating and is working on vibrating or will be vibrating at a higher frequency and will shake off that which is at a lower frequency. Do I believe that the Earth is going to hit a fifth dimension and is going to suddenly disappear? I'm not buying it. Now, I may not know enough, and maybe that is what's coming. If there's one thing you learn about me over time is I don't pretend that I have. We used to call it Ask Michael Anything. We don't anymore. I don't pretend to have all the answers. All I have is my best hunches. And my best hunches is that we are evolving as a species. We are evolving as a planet. But I believe there may be an infinite number of steps between here and the planet going poof and disappear. I could be completely wrong about this, C. Reeves. But I do believe that she is getting in a higher frequency, a higher vibration, or a higher room. And we have a choice to come along for the ride or be left behind. And I do believe that we are going through an energetic state change. Going back to high school physics, this means that the electron doesn't go from here away from the center to here, to here, to here, to here. It goes bink, with no time in between one state and another. A great way to think about this is you can look up these videos on YouTube. I won't come up with the exact word, but if you look up vibrating sand on a plate, what you'll find is they have these experiments where they put sand in a vibrating plate, and they have a motor below it that starts shaking this thing. And let's say at 10 hertz, all of a sudden it shows one geometric pattern in the sand. And then they start vibrating faster and faster, nothing happens. And then all of a sudden, boop, and a completely different pattern, sacred geometry, appears in the sand. And then it starts vibrating and vibrating faster. And all of a sudden, boop, and it pops to another formation without anything in between. These are energetic state changes. And that's what humanity is going through, if we can make it, and I believe we will. And that is what the planet is going through as well.
I remember seeing a video of what you're describing. If somebody wanted to look that up on YouTube, what would they look up? Well,
that's what I was just saying is I would look up sand vibration, geometric patterns. I think that would do it. Sand vibration patterns. There we go. And yes, there's sand vibrations with music. And what happens is at certain frequencies, it suddenly pops to a new energetic state. That's what we're going through. That's the rules of the universe. In between, it can be chaotic, but there is no gradual change. Mm-hmm. That's why it feels so uncomfortable right now as we're shaking faster and faster until we pop to that next state. What's suffering? Trying to hold on to that lower frequency.
So, perfect timing. I think we're good on questions. So are you planning on leading a guided meditation? No, you weren't?
Why not?
Did you have any last announcements before?
Automatic writing. We have a class this Thursday on automatic writing. If you want to join, is that on sale right now? You know these things better than me.
It is.
Okay. Yeah. So if you want to learn about automatic writing, if you want to learn how to channel, this is the tool. This is the tool. This was a very strange Sunday, which was a full-on Sunday this morning. And yet I still got my automatic writing in. Each morning I will go quiet. I will go into meditation. And then I will put my pen to paper. And I will say metaphorically, because I go to Mother Earth, I go to angels, I go to guides, and I will say, what in the world is going on right now? And what do I need to know about things? And I will put my pen to paper and I will hear, dear one, everything is okay. Everything is fine. You are going to be all right. Nothing is as it appears to be. Everything is in perfectly harmonious discord and accord all at once. You are meant to be here at this time. You chose to incarnate at this time. Everything is here for your highest good and the highest good of all. And then the pen will keep on going and tell me specifics about my life, about where I'm going, about what I get to do, about what I get to do for the day, and on it goes. And this voice is not coming from me. I believe you do the same thing each day. And you get your own personal private messages about what's going on in your life. That's what automatic writing is. We can teach you how to do this so that you can tap into universe, to guides, to source, to God, to passed on loved ones, to Mother Earth. The number of times that I talk to Mother Earth, I believe each and every morning, on some level I do, but specifically there are oftentimes I will be in discussion with her. What in the world is going on? What do we get to learn from this? But it's a process anybody can learn how to do. You don't have to be Houdini. You don't have to be the greatest channel, medium, or gifted whatever in the world. It's sort of like, okay, there may be very few Michael Jordans, but everybody can learn how to dribble a basketball and dribble one quite well. And so we'll be teaching you this Thursday how to do this. It will be a beautiful, beautiful class. And I think the most important tool that you could ever learn, for me, bar none, it is the one most single important tool out of anything. I've been I don't know how many years, 20 plus year meditator, 25 plus year meditator. I don't even know how to remember many years I've meditated. This is actually more powerful because it's not just going and sitting in the bliss and going, woo, I'm sitting in the bliss. Look at the pyrotechnics, feel the energy, look at the colors. This is actually getting answers. This is getting words. This is getting guidance. This is getting the what the hell do I do? And so come join us Thursday for that. And Jessica's putting the link down here, although I think she's saying something.
I was just going to say, to me, it's like a two-way prayer. Because before automatic writing, when I would pray, I wouldn't hear anything. I wouldn't hear any answers.
Which could be quite frustrating.
Yeah. I forget what I was going to say now.
Two-way prayer. I am never stop you in the middle of speaking. I am sorry. Two-way prayer.
You should know that as an interview. Do you interrupt your guests like that?
No, I don't.
Some of them. Anyway.
Wow.
With automatic writing, I write down my prayers, I write down my questions, and I get responses. That's all.
How has it changed your life?
Well, even on days where like I might have a bad automatic writing session where I'm not getting clear answers, or I just feel like I'm just writing a bunch of gibberish, I still feel better afterwards because I've made that connection. I'm still tapping into that energy field. So I feel more at peace.
I put it as less spun. It's easy to get stuck all up in here in the morning and sort of like we have all these beautiful hummingbirds whipping around us right now. You can feel like your mind is a bunch of hummingbirds whipping around, but if you dive into automatic writing, it grounds you in for the morning. You can get spun out by the to-dos later on, but then you could actually dive back into automatic writing. So a beautiful gift in my life is that on a day that I have a YouTube live like this, I go into automatic writing beforehand and I say, what do I get to teach? What do I get to talk about? And all of a sudden the words come flooding out to me. And I think it's especially important during this time where we can get spun by events around us to plug back into that voice. You're smirking. Q has a question.
No, it's not a question.
Okay.
Q had a piece of advice. Place your hand over your heart chakra and ask your heart any question, and speak to your heart chakra in a loving way. Give your heart time, and you'll find answers bubbling up to you in your thinking.
Couldn't agree more, Q. Couldn't agree more. That is the tapping in that we all get to do. And I'm going to bring it back to automatic writing and say it helps you then quiet some of these voices so that you can get it out more succinctly, so that it's not like a hummingbird that comes flitting on by and the idea pops into your consciousness and then zips away. We've got to figure out an external, maybe for next time we plug in an external camera so I can turn it around during the meditate or during this so that people can see the hummingbird Olympics going on during this time. There are dozens of hummingbirds flying around us right now, looking at us, looking in the window, buzzing around, getting some nectar from the hummingbird feeders that we have out, and then zipping off and zipping back. Anything else that you wanted to share before we dive into a meditation?
I just shared it in chat.
For those that aren't reading the chat, it was something to the effect of never interrupt an introvert while she's on the mic. Does that sound right?
Never interrupt an introvert if she or he is actually speaking.
Ooh, very, very good point. Oh, go ahead.
We've only been married 10 years. We're still learning.
We are still learning. And it's 10 years and I am still learning. She would say that you had it all figured out from day number one. Danger, run from this guy.
No, I would say I'm still learning.
Okay.
I just learned that you like lopsided haircuts.
I do, but this is not it tonight.
That's not my fault.
No, this is entirely the caretaker here. I don't know what happened. This haircut went off the rails today, but I do think it looks kind of endearing with it out a little bit on this side and down that one. I had no idea. Yes, Lisa, Jessica does ground me. I want to ask before I dive into a meditation, do you have any last words of wisdom that you want to share on this topic or anything? And then I will go quiet and just listen.
On what topic?
Anything at all. This was about a little bit about what in the world do we do next? Live life fully in the age of COVID-19, or how to reinvent yourself.
But we've covered so many topics.
We have. So on anything, this is the Columbo question.
I can still love you for putting me on the spot. That's my own personal lesson.
I think I just heard I'm in trouble.
No, you see, I'm actually choosing to get past this pattern that we have where I give you a hard time because you put me on the spot and totally embarrassed me in front of 124 strangers.
Very nice.
And anyone else who's going to watch the replay.
All right, I am going to do something that's breaking all the rules, but I can't resist. So everybody hopefully will hear me on the internal mic. But the hummers are going crazy. I've seen a couple of people mentioning the hummers, and I am going to turn this around to show the hummingbirds. Without this microphone that has a propensity for...
You're going to have to talk louder, I think?
Can people... No, can people still hear me? I think so. All right, we're going to do this. We are going to turn the camera around, which means I have no idea on anything that's going to happen here. And I think the pillows are going to fall. And so now the hummingbirds have disappeared. You have got to be kidding me.
Is the meditation about visualizing hummingbirds?
Imagine that you're seeing a hummingbird. Breathe in and out, because every moment for the last hour, except for this particular second, oh, no, not the light. Off light. Thank you. Can they see it? Can you guys see this? I almost want to talk really, really quietly. That's a ruby red throat hummingbird there. The colors that you see on the neck appear to be red, but it's just the angle of light hitting it. All right, I think
they can see it.
All right. So now we'll go back into, and we'll go into a meditation now. I hope everybody enjoyed that. We'll have to do that during more daylight hours here, as we have, I'm surprised everybody has hung in there through that. Very, very cool. Yes. All right, so let's put this back in here, and we are going to play. And I have no idea what's going to come out in a meditation. So if everybody gets good and comfortable here, and are you wanting to be on camera, off camera? Off. All right. I want you to breathe in, down to the belly, and out. In, down to the belly, and out. You can put one hand on your heart. Breathe in through the nose, down to the belly, and out. Now, as you continue to breathe in and out, I want you to imagine a small golden light, like a little orb in front of you, that is spinning. And as you breathe in and out, it starts to spin faster. You can see the kind of little propeller spinning around and around. You keep breathing in, it spins a little faster. You breathe out, it's faster still. Breathe in, you can breathe into the heart and out from the heart. And you see it just starting to spin faster and faster. Now, as you look at this light, you can see that it's taking in all the energy all over the planet. It's taking in fear, gets a little bit bigger. It takes in anger. It gets a little bigger still. Takes in worry, bigger still. Uncertainty, bigger still. As you keep breathing in and out, you keep watching this golden light in front of you, growing brighter and brighter. It gobbles up fear. It gobbles up hatred. It gobbles up anger, enmity, and every perceived negative emotion out there. And with each quote unquote negative energy it takes in, it grows brighter and brighter still. So bright, in fact, that as you breathe in, you start to take in this golden light. As you breathe out, that light is transformed inside of you to love. You breathe in this golden light and out, sending out love. As you watch the situation around you, you watch your president or your chancellor or your politicians or your protesters. With each word you see them say, that sun hovering just in front of you grows brighter and brighter still. In fact, there's nothing that can be said that dims the light. There's nothing that can be done that causes the light to grow less bright. Everything makes the light grow brighter. Everything helps that sun here on earth to shine. You breathe in that light. You send out love. You breathe in that light. You send out love. The light is growing so incredibly bright now that there's no boundary between you and that sun. In fact, as you breathe in, you begin to merge with that sun that's been hovering just in front of you. You become it. It becomes you. You breathe in this amazing light. You send out incredible love. You breathe in this amazing light. And you send out the most amazing healing love and light in the world. As you've merged with this light, you can see that every word, every action, everything taking place on this planet, no matter how awful it looked before, only helps this light to grow brighter. There is nothing that can be done or not done that doesn't help this light, which is you, to shine bright. Everything helps you shine brighter and brighter. Everything helps you grow stronger and stronger. And everything helps you to send out the most amazing, loving, kind, healing love and light to the world. You breathe in all. You send out love. You see all as you breathe in. You send out even more love. Every single thing you experience, see, breathe, hear, feel otherwise makes you glow even brighter and helps you send out the most amazing love and light in the world. You are this incredible sun here on earth. You are capable of this incredible greatness. You are the light that can send out healing love to everyone and everything everywhere. With each breath you take, you can grow stronger. With each breath you take, you can grow kinder and more compassionate. And with each breath you take, you can be more centered and aligned with the love that is you and is everything. I want to encourage you as you leave here tonight to remember to breathe in this light, to be the sun that you are, and to send out all the love and light to everyone you can. And when you find yourself on the news, when you find yourself feeling trapped, when you find yourself suffering for whatever reason, breathe that in and see yourself glowing brighter. Breathe it in. Feel yourself becoming stronger. Breathe it in and find yourself completely enveloped by the love. Put your hand on your chest for a minute. Breathe in that amazing light. Send out love. You can even rub your chest and say, I love myself. Breathe in that light and send out love. Breathe in all that golden, delicious light and send out even more love. Put your arms on your shoulders, you bright and shiny beacon of light. Love yourself up with everything you have. Give yourself the biggest, loving, kind hug in the world. Know this is your birthright, love. Know this is your birthright, light. Know this is your birthright, to shine your love and light on the world. You are love. You are light. And you and the entire world, which only makes you grow brighter, are perfect, just as you are. I love you guys so, so much. Thank you so much for joining us here tonight. Thank you, Jessica, for, I don't even know how you do it, being able to speak and type almost at the same time. We'll see you guys Tuesday for our next YouTube Live. Actually, do we have a show tomorrow with Panache Desai?
Yes, we do.
We have a premiere tomorrow night.
What time is the premiere?
The premiere is, I believe, at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. Pacific. In future, we can actually post the link because we have it in advance now. That will be a beautiful, beautiful YouTube premiere tomorrow night with Panache Desai on why you are loved, on why you are whole, on why you are perfect, especially in this COVID-19 time, just as you are. So come join us for that. Come join us for our masterclass. Come join us for automatic writing. And come join us as we come together as light workers, as suns here on earth, for you are a bright and shiny beacon of light, so that we can all help shift our vibration and shift the vibration of this entire planet. It's no accident you're here this evening. It's no accident you're watching Jessica and myself. It's because you are a light worker, you are a light warrior, and you shine the most amazing, amazing light on the world. So see you guys soon. Have an amazing, magical evening ahead. Thank you so much, Jessica. And keep on shining bright. Woohoo! Love you guys.
Thanks for joining us. Good night.
Night. Hearts. It's not ending.